Welcome to Enlighten Crypto, my brand new channel helping you keep it zen in the crazy, crazy world of crypto. So let's get in to today's video. So like I say, this is a brand new channel. Hit subscribe. I'm going to be making loads of great content like this, keeping you updated with what's going on in the markets, top tip videos like this for beginners. I'll be doing all sorts going forward. So today is the 11 top tips for crypto beginners, keeping it zen with this step-by-step guide. I understand it can be very overwhelming, especially to begin with. There's so much to learn, all these crazy terms. In fact, that might be my next video, going for all the terminology in investing in crypto. So yeah, I just thought I'd break it down, my 11 top tips to help you feel a bit more comfortable. And if you haven't already, have a look at my Patreon group, the Enlighten Crypto community. Here there's 3 different membership levels. Basic membership, when you get Telegram group support every single day. I put updates in there. The next level up, you get portfolio support as well. So you get a report every quarter with loads and loads of really important information on all of my chosen coins. And if you do the full membership, you get a monthly Zoom call and you also get a meditation every month as well. So check that out. I've left a link down below. Before we step into today's video, it's important for me to say I'm not a financial advisor and this is not financial advice. Very important for you to note that. It's cool. Let's get into it. Number 1. I think this is really, really important. Look long term. A lot of people come into crypto, they're like, oh, I'm going to make, I'm going to be a millionaire in a month. I want to make a quick buck and whatever. Don't get me wrong, some people can make good money very quickly, but this is not the best mentality to come with. And it's also a really good way to get wrecked, lose all your money straight away. So I would be looking, at least months ahead, which in crypto is still considered quite a long time by some, but ideally looking years ahead, what coins and projects are still going to be around in 4 or 5 years time and beyond. That's where I personally look for when I look for what coins to invest in. And if you look at the last decade, Bitcoin outperformed Tesla, Netflix, Apple. It was the pretty much best performing asset of the whole decade. So it shows if you do look over the long term, you are likely to make money, because I don't think it's going to slow down too much this decade. There's a lot more institutional and corporate money coming in at the start of the decade. So we'll see how that unfolds. And also talking about looking long term, let's look at these halving cycles. So it's about 4 years, but it's actually 210,000 blocks. The rewards for miners halves. So in May 2020, it went from 12.5 Bitcoin down to 6.25 Bitcoin. So the supply is slowly coming down, which is why it's called a deflationary asset. And by the year 2140, there'll be no coins left to mine whatsoever. And that affects the market heavily. So you see on the left, we've got different graphs. The green areas is where there's a strong bull run, and that's what we're in at the moment. The red zones are bear markets, which means when the price is coming down. And then the blue and green bits are just accumulation kind of phases in between. So you can see the top of each bull market, the price has been a lot higher than the last. So now this chart isn't fully updated, but we've gone past this third halving. That was in May, and we're about halfway through. We're around this $50,000 level for Bitcoin, and Bitcoin does dictate a lot of the rest of the markets. That's why we usually look at Bitcoin charts over anything else to dictate and see where the rest of the crypto market is heading. So again, this is another reason to look long term, because like I say, each top of the bull cycle is a lot higher than the last one. So there's no need to kind of panic and sell out, especially if you're at a loss at that point. And again, this is just reiterating it. So 2011, the top was $31, 2013, 1,153, 2017, We did a 17x from there to $20,000. Even if we did, say, around half of that, and we did a 10x from there, that would be $200,000 a Bitcoin. Like I say, we're about 50,000 now, so it's still another 4x. And what could that be in 2025 and beyond? I'll just go back actually to that one. Yeah, if this year was 200,000, could be 500,000 or more. Who knows? Like I say, there's a lot of big money coming in. And just looking at this chart, this is Apple's kind of life cycle. If you compare crypto to it, we're actually here. We've had this big kind of expansion phase, and now we could be heading into the part where it goes really mainstream and a lot more money starts flooding in. So I believe we are still very early in this. Top tip number 2, buy the dip. So psychologically, obviously, this is a lot harder than it sounds. A lot of people, when they see the price shooting up like this, they get really excited. Oh, it's going to go up forever. They do what's called FOMO, fear of missing out. Oh, I don't want to miss out. So they buy here at these tops, and then the price comes down. And then sometimes they panic. So like here we went up to $40,000, came all the way down to 30. Some people might panic, oh, Bitcoin's dead, it's over. So they bought it here at 40, sold it at 30, so they've lost 25% of the money. So you have to, it's very difficult, but you have to kind of have the opposite mentality to this. You buy on the dips. If we go back to March, when it dipped, it was like $3,000. Here in September, it dipped down to about $10,000. Say recently, it's dipped down to 30. And very recently, last week, we went up to $58,000 and we dipped all the way down to about 43, 44. So again, another good buying opportunity. So they're the times you want to buy and definitely not sell, because if you sell the dip, especially after you've bought high, there's a sure way you're going to lose money. So it's very important. Number 3, risk management. So only putting in what you can afford to lose. I'll talk a little bit more about strategy with that later, and also I'll talk a bit more about coins which might be a bit riskier than others, and also looking at your risk to reward ratio. Crypto is often seen as very risky, but also the rewards are a lot higher than some other markets. Number 4, really important, make sure your crypto is safe. Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies in general, have never been hacked, or Bitcoin hasn't. I think a couple of the other smaller ones might have been, but it's actually the wallets themselves that can get hacked. And another way to lose your crypto is by losing your passwords. There's a lot of horror stories of that. People that have had millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin and they've lost the hardware, whatever. This is really important. So what I suggest doing, write down your passwords in about 3 different places. Do it with pen and paper, because a lot of the hacking occurs when people steal your passwords digitally. They can't do it if it's on a piece of paper and you hide it around your house. Maybe you hide one at your mum's house, etc. So yeah, don't share with anyone other than your loved ones. It's also good to create a Proton mail. This is an encrypted email provider, and it gives you more protection and separation from your other emails. If anything like me, you get loads of emails all the time. It's good to have that kind of separation. So I'd recommend these hardware wallets on the left, especially if you're making bigger purchases. The wallets themselves are about $100. So obviously if you're only putting in $100, it's a bit pointless buying one of these. But yeah, if you are looking to do bigger purchases and in it for the long term, I'd recommend these. You got the Ledger Nano X and the Trezor. I've got the Nano X personally. I can definitely recommend that. And if you want to be really, really safe, I'd recommend checking out this YouTube guide from Crypto Casey. She's got a fantastic channel, especially for beginners out there, and there's a weekly update. But yeah, this particular episode, if you want to be meticulous about your security, I'd recommend it, because she goes into real depth. And I'll leave a link for that down below. Number 5 now. Be wary of trading. So this is really important. I'll start you off with a very important statistic. Over 80% of traders lose money. So don't get caught in the trap, which a lot of people do, and they get too overconfident and they think they know what they're doing and they're spending all day buying and selling crypto. And next thing you know, they get completely wrecked. This happens all too common. The top 10% or slightly more that are making money have researched it for years, have done courses on it, now to read all the charts, do all the technical analysis. So just because you've had a few good weeks in the markets, don't suddenly think you're capable of trading. So I'm not saying don't trade. I'm just saying if you're going to, make sure you know exactly what you're doing, because there's a lot more risk than when you're long-term investing. So that's what I stick to, and that's what I recommend people in my group stick to as well. Number 6, managing your emotions. So investing and the markets, it's pretty much all psychological and emotional. So being able to manage that and manage your emotions is important. If you are completely emotionally imbalanced and psychologically, then I wouldn't recommend investing, because especially in crypto where it's so volatile, because you could literally lose 25% of your portfolio in a day, which if you're not stable could drive you mad. Or if you put too much money in, going back to what I was saying, managing risk, and you put in too much money in than you should have, then that's going to be a very difficult road for you. And these are the kind of cycles in emotions we get in markets, and it kind of links up with the halving cycles that I was on about. So you start off with optimism, then it gets excitement, thrill, then euphoria. You know, we're going to the moon. The Bitcoin price is just going to go up forever, and we're going to $1 million by the summer. That kind of crazy talk starts happening. Then suddenly it starts coming down. Some anxiety comes down a bit more, a bit of denial. Then there's fear. It's like, oh God, this is actually going down for a long time. Desperation, panic. People start selling then, and they might have lost a lot of money. So I'm going to talk about how to protect against that, which you can. And then it'll start coming back up to the hope, relief, and optimism after the long kind of bear market and difficult times. But they're the good times to accumulate the crypto when everyone else is despondent. That's when the prices are nice and low for everyone. So I hope that makes sense. Number 7, have a strategy. So firstly, what I'd recommend to do is choose a percentage of your total assets that you'd like to invest in crypto. So for example, and this isn't right, but just to give you an example, I had $10,000 to my name, and I decided that I wanted to put 10% of that into crypto. So yeah, it's up to you to decide. You can kind of work it out. It could be spread over, I don't know, the amount of money you've got in your house. Maybe you invest in other things, your cash income, all that together, work that out, and then pick a percentage of that you'd like to put into crypto. And I'd also choose a percentage that you want to hold back to buy dips, or maybe you want to start stacking up some crypto during the next bear market. So I'd always hold a little bit back as well. And also, once you pick that, structure your portfolio itself, a strategy around that. So for example, I sat down, researched the coins long and hard for a long time, worked it all out. I decided I wanted to put 30% of my crypto portfolio into Bitcoin, 20% into Ethereum, and 50% across altcoins. So it gives you a lot more peace of mind when you've got a set strategy that you can stick to, and then you haven't got to keep messing with it as you go along. But I would say to you all, get some exposure at least, because the amount of money printing going on at the moment is insane. 40% of all the US dollars in history, going back to the 1700s, has been printed in the last year alone. So we're going to see some huge inflation coming soon, I'm sure of it. And crypto is a great way to protect against that. So I'd recommend everyone get at least 1% of your net worth into crypto. Personally, I think that is a no-brainer. So yeah, you can see over the last 100 or so years, the purchasing power of the dollar and how it comes down, 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 down. As you compare that to assets like stocks or gold, or even in recent years, crypto, you'll see this trajectory is the complete opposite. So holding cash really long term is not the wisest move. Cool. Number 8, research. So learn about how the technology actually works. It can give you peace of mind because then you know what you're investing in and why you're investing in it. If you're just investing in it with no knowledge whatsoever, that can be a little bit more scary. So yeah, check out my webinar. If you are new to crypto, I'm doing a Bitcoin, crypto and blockchain webinar on Monday, the 22nd of March. It's only £11.11 to sign up, and I'll record it. So you'll get a recording of it sent out after. So if you can't make it live, you can watch it after, or if you do and you want to watch it back, you can do that as well. And I'll kind of cover everything on there, but I'll talk about that later on. Next point, research any coin that you invest in. So not just researching the technology as a whole. If you're investing in Ethereum, for example, find out what it does, find out exactly what it does, and then you know, again, what you're investing in. The more you understand the tech, the more informed you are about it as a long-term investment. Lastly, take full responsibility. There's no point saying, I don't know, I watched this video from Alex or BitBoy or any YouTuber or people putting out content and they told me about this coin, I invested in it and it went to zero. There's no point doing that because it's your money at the end of the day. So I'd recommend taking full responsibility, getting a range of opinions. There's loads of great content out there, and then you can make an informed decision on where you put your money. Number 9, low cap gems. You might see some of these videos going around. I've used Lark's video as an example. He's actually my favorite YouTuber, but I think this can be quite dangerous. This kind of low cap altcoin gems, big gains, you'll see it everywhere. I'll be very careful of any coin outside the top 100 to 200. There's much more risk in these projects. They're less established, they've got less money in them, so they can be a lot more volatile. And there's new projects coming out and promoted all the time, and many of them fail long term. So you've got to bear that in mind. So I'm not saying don't invest in some of these low cap coins or projects that you're really excited about, but I just make it a very small percentage of your overall portfolio if you're going to do that. Unless you like being high risk, then by all means go ahead, but it's not what I recommend at all, especially when there's lots of money to be made in very well established projects. Number 10, take profits as you go. As I mentioned a little bit earlier, keep it zen this way. Give yourself some peace of mind and take profits on the way. And I'd recommend having a plan for each individual coin. So an example for this would be when Bitcoin is a 3x. So say, I don't know, I bought it at $10,000 a coin and I put my initial investment in, and now it's worth $30,000. So I take out that initial investment. I take out, say I put $1,000 in when it was worth 10,000. So I take that back out. I've still got 2/3 of my investment still in, but that is just kind of for me now because I've got my initial investment. I know I can't lose with it, and I can kind of ride that for as long as I want, and it gives me a lot of peace of mind. And then you might look past that. So the next stage, you might take money out, maybe instead of 5x, maybe it's another 10x. You take out another half of what's left in, and so on and so forth. But have a plan and try and stick to it more or less, and that will stop you kind of getting greedy and making mistakes, or yeah, and it just gives you more peace of mind, as I said. Last one, number 11, be grateful. If you have money to invest in crypto, you're better off than most of the world's population. So I think it's important to keep that in mind and not get too emotionally attached to all this. It is obviously important. It's our hard-earned money and life energy, But at the same time, if we have got enough to invest, we're better off than a lot of people. And most of you watching probably aren't going to worry about where your next meal is coming from, for example. And gratitude does help the stress off, as it helps you understand that these are first world worries that we're having. I've invested, Bitcoin goes down 20% in a day. Oh my God. In the grand scheme of things, it's not the end of the world. And yeah, this is just something I do daily. Daily gratitude practice helps create a more grounded and peaceful mindset. It's what I normally do. Just sit my eyes closed, think about a person from the past or the present that I'm grateful for that's helped me on my journey. I think about the first thing that pops into my head, just sit and think about why I'm grateful for that. And then I always do something small. So that could literally be small as the pillow that I'm sat on or the cup of tea I'm going to have. And that just helps you appreciate the little things in life. So yeah, this is what I want to do with the channel, make it not just about investing, but also about psychology, emotional development, and spiritual development as well. I'm kind of tying it all in together rather than it just being about money, which is also good as well. Awesome. So yeah, just going back to what I said at the start, check out the Enlighten Crypto community. I'll put a link for that down below. We've got a really nice community building. Got over 20 people in there now, only started in December. And we've made really good money since. Everyone involved, I believe, is up 150 to 200%, I'd say, in that kind of area, which in about 2 or 3 months is pretty impressive. I'd like to see anyone make that in the stock market at the moment or anywhere else. So yeah, check that out. And lastly, again, I spoke about this a little bit earlier. I've got my next webinar on the 22nd of March. I'll talk about the history of money in crypto. Some fascinating stuff there, and kind of comparing the different aspects and qualities of paper money, gold, crypto, etc. Talk about how the tech works and go into detail about Ethereum, blockchain 2.0, smart contracts, how Bitcoin works, and mining. A lot of people aren't sure about that, especially beginners. I do a deep dive into the investment history and the investment side of it and altcoins, and also do a live Q&A at half and full time. So if you've got any specific questions for me, you can ask along the way. So they're always fantastic evenings. There's a lot more content in there. It's 2 hours long. That's just a general overview. It's cool. Thank you for listening to today's video. If you've got any questions or any thoughts, leave a comment down below. Thanks for listening, and peace out till next time, guys.